seed of love today. Don't delay. Send yours in right away. Away, away. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Power to the People. I have so much to talk about today. So I know I wasn't on last week, but I do have a lot to talk about today. So I want you to join me. If you're in your car and you got to get out, can connect to Facebook at Power to the People.
Power to the People show.
Power to the People show. If you just do Power to the People, you're not going to get us. You're going to get somebody else. It's Power to the People show. And you can also go to YouTube if you got to get out your car. But just stay in your car or leave the radio on. So surprised how many people, I don't know what our stats are, and probably if we were on Saturday, they would even be better because people at work, a lot of people at work. Mm-hmm. But how many people who I've seen even this week who have said, I listen, and not only do they say, they comment, so I know that they have listened, like, oh, yeah, because you were talking about such. So big shout out to those of you who watch and listen. Shad will appreciate this back over at the station. I'm talking about this, we do a lot of funerals here, homegoings, and got one inside going on right now. I just want to say this as a matter of etiquette, folks out there watching and listening. If somebody passes and it's not your family member, don't go on social media. How do you know? Because I see this all the time. And I thought about it when I walked through the funeral just now. How do you know that family has been notified? Because your cousin work at the hospital. And I've talked about this before. You ever seen Miss Shirlene on YouTube? You never saw Miss Shirlene? It's a woman who acts like she's a choir director. She's traveling all over right now as a comedian. And she has some.
What? I think I do know.
Oh, you definitely have had to see Miss Shirlene. So in the words of Miss Shirlene, y'all stop doing that. I've never, and there are times that people will call me and say such a pass. I've never. It's just common courtesy. Posted something until I see if I do post something until I see the family post something. Then I might repost what the family or something, but don't stop. That's rude.
Please.
Jen says, say it so the people in the back can hear. I said it. Didn't I say this a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
Maybe the right people ain't hearing it. Maybe if y'all start saying the same thing out there, people understand that that's rude.
Don't think they care.
Well, because everybody want to be the first.
The first. Breaking news.
The first. Did you know? Speaking of passing, the mother, I shouldn't say the mother of Crystal People Stokes, because she's not just the mother of Crystal People Stokes. She's also the mother of John. She's also the mother of Cindy. Colin. So all of them. Clara Davis has gone on to rest.
97.
97 years old. I went to visit her a few weeks ago, and she didn't know who was at the door. I think she told her age. She didn't want to be bothered, and then she said, who was at the door? She said, baby, come on in. And was sitting up, eating, had just finished her meal, feeding herself from what I saw. Asked me if I wanted some, and we talked. And I bring this up because I think about my childhood and how incredibly blessed I was to grow up at St. Luke. A lot of attention to youth and children. Dr. Whitted, God rest his soul, was ahead of his time. And we didn't call in the Methodist church, you didn't call older women mothers like we do in the Baptist church. They were just but they were all like mothers. So the thing that I miss the most is the respect that we had to show to older people. And it just now I look back. I'm 57, so we started going to St. Luke. I was probably 7, 8. I don't know, maybe even somewhere around there, 8, 9. So where we thought that somebody like Sister Davis was older, she was probably younger than what I am right now. But there was a respect level that and I'm not just talking about in church, I'm talking about totally when it came to young people and elders and elderly. It was always this respect. You always had to put a handle on it. And it disappoints me to see the erosion of that respect, even in the church, but especially, you go out, you're in the store, and you see somebody elderly bent over a cart, and it's no like, ma'am, you can go in front of me.
Absolutely.
The cursing that goes on in the presence of elderly, and I know somebody will comment and say, well, they cuss too. It does not matter. When you have reached a certain level. And I wonder, is that just not being taught anymore?
I don't think so. And because coincidentally enough, we started football camp and we literally, in our first defensive meeting, we're setting that culture. You don't call a coach by his first name. The answer is yes. No.
Yes.
Coach, if you want to put a sir on it, we're fine. But like you said, we walk by players and we're like, how you doing today? That's all right. What? Wait. Let's try this again. So like you said, it's not being taught. And I remember even at Canisius, it was the same way. You would just have players walking by, what up?
Right. Right. Yeah. And I'm not I don't think I'm a prude. But I do feel kind of disrespected when some child says to me, "What up?" Mm-hmm. Because number one, I don't talk like that to them.
No.
And if I, like you said, and my kids slip and say, yeah, every once in a while, but right away I correct it. Like I can't say, call one of them and they go, yeah. You what? My wig just goes back. My hair turns back black and full, and I grow a full set of hair again for a few seconds. Because when I say Jaden, I expect yes, or I ask question. And I was with one of my grandkids. I can't even remember which one right now. This week. And I asked, I know which one. And I asked him something, and he said, yeah. And I said, no, baby, yes. And I do that because I want them to be able to understand respect and to know how to conduct themselves. And I think that it is important for us to train that. Shugi says, I think she's going back to the conversation, or I'm just catching up, about the putting stuff out there. She says it's not being, wait a minute, she has something else about somebody, a coroner.
Yeah, she was saying people were posting about her uncle, and the coroner hadn't even picked up the body yet.
Like, stop. You don't have to be the first. But that respect thing, man. So I was on the plane the other day, and I'm going to talk about that because I got to give big ups. To American Airline Cruise member, and one specifically in a second. But even seeing, like, and it's embarrassing, and I know some people are going to say it's a fashion statement, but seeing young men get on the plane and their pants are way down, way down. And the airline, whether people know it or not, has the option to not allow you to ride a plane.
Wow.
If you are not properly dressed. And I've seen many people, not personally, but clips from people who were told, they couldn't get on. Some of them I thought was unfair, and people were being targeted. But I think, come on,
that's a bit much.
It's a lot that you got to wear that like that. Come on, it's unnecessary. Yeah, the respect. We have got to get that back, folks. We have got to begin teaching that again. I don't. Yeah. So, speaking of teaching, and I didn't know, and you and I have discussed this. So, I want to say big ups to the son of Otis Glover, who works at American Airlines at the counter, and another young lady. It was like 3 people working at the airlines. My daughter was here from Houston, and she wanted some daddy-daughter time, and so we went out of the country. And first of all, I guess I didn't know how important, even if your children are grown, it is to spend time with them, like quality time. Because you think she got her own family now, moving on in her life, her career. She ain't thinking about me, she ain't thinking about me. And and I've had fantastic vacations before, but with her, this was the best time, being just her and I. No kids. We left kids. And so it was so important to her. So what I did, once I found out how important, and I realized in having that uninterrupted time, and learning her as an adult and accepting her as an adult. And I thought it was going to be difficult, but it very, very much was not. So I decided yesterday to take my middle daughter on a date. So we went out on a date. I'll come back to that. But I didn't know, folks, but I have given literally what I realized, my life at times, moment of transparency, to everyone else above even the children that I'm responsible for. And at times felt guilty for taking, number one, any time for me. And then, is that my phone?
Is it?
Oh, I think, and it might be Miss Doyle, because we told her to call her. Miss Doyle, if you're listening, I'll get you at 12:30. Anytime for me, but especially anytime, and this is no slight on my boys, but boys are, they got more time. My girls, I just didn't realize. So once there was this kind of breakthrough with the youngest daughter and her just having her dad. So the middle daughter is a lot more shy, a lot more reserved, I thought, till she called the manager at the restaurant yesterday. Anyway, and I'm like, no. Yeah. She's like, oh, no. That. So I'm learning like her. But let me tell you this quick story. So we're going. So we make reservations to go out of the country. And that's a little process. You got to have your passport.
Yes. Tell me about
and I got all of that. I've got my passport. I've got, all of the Nexus, the Clear, Global. Like, I hate waiting in line. So get to the airport. And so because these guidelines are changing like every day, even the folks at the airport sometimes are like, okay, I think you need this, and you need this and you need that. And so we were told we needed one thing, and it was the vaccine card. Well, Josh's vaccine card is in Houston. So they were like, well, if you can get a copy of it. Well, nobody was at home. So she calls where she got the vaccine. And they look it up and say, yeah, we got it. She says, can you take a picture of it and send me? No, we can't. Somebody has to physically come and get it. Now, here's the kicker. She calls a neighbor. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to show you the hand of God right now.
Non-family neighbor.
And ask a neighbor to go to where she got the vaccine and get it and take a picture. You got some good neighbors in Houston. She got some good. Neighbor goes, we're at the airport. Neighbor goes, gets a copy of her vaccine.
A medical record.
Medical record. takes a picture of it, sends it, and then somebody else at the airline said, oh, no, you don't need that. Now, it's getting close to the time that we've got to board, okay? And we're there a couple hours early. So we needed this QR code we had to fill out. So now we forget about the vaccine because maybe a few days before you did need it. That's how fast things are changing. So this is no disrespect to the airline. It's changing so quick, even for the workers to keep up. So we fill out the QR code. So now we got our tickets. So now she's going to go through the regular line. I'm going, of course, through TSA pre-check. So I'm laughing, and I say, I see you on the other side. Whenever you get through, because in the regular line you got to take off your shoes, you got to take out your fingernails, you got to take out your hair, you got to jump up and down 3 times with your hands in the V and all that, and you don't in pre-check. You don't have to take off your shoes, you don't have to take your computer out. You put your stuff on, you walk through, right? So I'm gonna beat her. Well, I get up to the TSA guy. Oh, better way. That's a big shout out to American Airlines folks because they worked really hard to get me out. And then there was a member of True Bethel. Now, one person was a member of True Bethel who was helping me. There was a member of True Bethel over at Delta, and he came over and said, see, if you had to come to Delta, you wouldn't be having this problem. So they was having a little war. How about I get up, give the guy my passport, and it bings like, Never heard that sound before. He says, let me try your license. Give him my license. He said, you got to go back. Now, mind you, I've got 20 minutes before boarding. 20 minutes before boarding.
Every time.
I go back. He says, something is wrong in the record. I go back. They pull up my record. They say, is your birthday isn't matching. Somebody must have put your stuff in wrong. I said, no, I put it inside. But they changed the birthday. Okay? I go back through TSA pre-check. Give him my stuff. I'm confident now. I got 10 minutes before boarding begins. They've changed it. He puts it on. He says, well, it takes a minute for the system to update. So just stand over to the side. So I stand over to the side. Now I see somebody come in with like a baby carriage and all that. So I know, oh my gosh, I'm about to be in trouble because they're going to be in front of me. And this, you got to break down that bed. I feel for people who travel with kids. I feel for you all.
Bless them.
How about he puts it up again and it goes, okay. I go back. 10 minutes before boarding. They look it up. He says, the record is not changing. Like, what? So he finally says, who is Barbara Pridgen? I said, that's my mom. Is her birthday such? Yeah. Somehow, in some safety check system, all of our information got intertwined. So Mr. Glover says, let me call this number I have. They can fix this. He calls. They say they can't fix it. Their end. It is now boarding time. Joss is at the gate. Come on. Joss is at the gate. I get ready to tell her to board. Then I think she's going to go out of the country without me, and she's not. Now, her Spanish, A1. Like very, very good Spanish. So I knew she could make it, but I had the rent-a-car. I had the hotel in my name. So I said, Joss, don't get on the plane. She said, Dad, they're boarding. Now they look and they have to undo everybody's ticket and re-put them in. The gate agent says to Joss, I will give him 10 minutes. Okay. They unravel it. I go through TSA, and instead of hearing, I thought I won the lottery because I heard ding. I'm running through the airport like OJ in those Hertz commercials. And y'all know I got a half a lung gone over the side. I'm booking. I'm thinking I'm going to faint. I don't care. I'm getting up there to that. So we get on. The hand of God. And they were talking about God. The hand of God just got it. So we get to the connection. Go to one of the airline clubs, have something to eat. Oh, no, I go to get money out of the ATM. And how about the ATM locks me out? I was like, I'm not going to stress. I ain't going to stress. ATM locks me out. So I say, okay, we'll go sit, get something to eat, call the bank, take care of it. We get on the elevator to go take our flight. How about we get stuck in the elevator? Stuck in the elevator. It was malfunction. When we finally got on that plane, all we could do was laugh, and I could thank God. So just a quick little story that sometimes it's not smooth. I'm getting ready to preach in here.
You heard that organ, that's what it was.
Yeah, I hear the organ over in the funeral. But it's that persistence and not letting it get to you. And at the end of the day, one of my favorite terms is, did you get what you wanted?
Yep.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how hard it was. It doesn't matter how tough it was. I got what I wanted. I wanted time with my daughter. And sometimes you can see these obstacles and go, oh, that must be the devil trying to tell you something. No, that may be the devil trying to stop something that you know you need to do. Am I preaching in here? Am I preaching in here?
Well,
so at the end of the day, every time you hit a road bump, it doesn't mean, oh, Lord, this ain't what I'm supposed to do. Oh, Lord, this was a sign. Because it was a beautiful trip. Okay, let me move on. But I will say this. Now, we were we were out of the country, and you got to be careful when you rent cars out of the country, because the rent-a-car company. Now, we've been back for how many days? 5 days or so?
yeah.
How about the rental-car company called me yesterday and said, your car is overdue. I was like, what?
Huh?
Because they're janky sometimes. So they didn't log my car back in the right way. So, yeah.
Oh.
So that was
like I took the car with me back to America.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I drove this car and brought it back to America. You can't even drive back unless I could drive it over the water.
So Jomo just texted me and said, I know your ADD had you paranoid.
Oh, let me tell you, it was something, but we got through it and had the time of our life. And so I have called, especially my girls, and I called my other daughter, and I'm being very transparent here about this. And I apologize to her, and I apologize to my middle daughter, because, like I said, I've raised some tough girls, and they would never say to me, Dad, I want to spend time, and I just committed to make new memories with my children, and especially the girls. The girls need me, and the guys, but the guys have always had me. Craig is always around. The boys are around. Marquise, they've always been around. But the girls, at times, I guess, I didn't. I'm making it up. It was an article today about, where do I want to go? Oh, first of all, thank you to A.R. Bernard, Dr. A.R. Bernard, and to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now, I want to talk about this. They brought 2 trailer loads of food. I still have some food left over in the pantry, and I think we have some on the bus if we haven't taken it out yet. We're going to probably bring it over to Jasper Parish area. Okay, so people have tasted the food. Now, let me tell you, when I saw the food, I was a little concerned. And I'm going to tell you why. There was no name brands. Okay, and I know how people are. But, I mean, there was a name brand, but I never seen it, I should say. Everything from peanut butter, jelly, dishwashing liquid, milk, which some people thought was powdered milk. It's not. It's the same thing they have overseas. It's in a box. It lasts a long time until you open it. But it's good. I've had it before. Every product, pork and beans, beef in a can. I never saw that. Spaghetti.
Salsa.
Flour. Pancake mix.
Hot
syrup.
chocolate mix. Everything you can think of.
Almost everybody I've talked to said that food was so good. Now, let me tell you why I'm talking about it. I'm talking to the representative from Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I know it's a big mouthful. And she says to me, I said, where do you get the food from? Where do you buy the food from? Because we had hundreds of people come through. Hundreds and hundreds of people come through for the food. She said, we make it. Or we buy it from our own members who have farms. huh? She said, look at every box. Every box had whatever their trade name is on every single box. Salt Lake City. Every single item they made. Now, why am I talking about that? Today's paper, or at least online, they had a thing about healthy food initiatives in stores. And they had Lucky in there. And everybody knows Lucky if you around deli stores. So I guess they're releasing some money for like facade improvements, stuff like that. And he was talking about the fact that, there's money being released for Broadway Market, and that the deli stores have been providing food, that it's the only provider of food in most of the East Side, right? Besides Tops. And they're doing a healthy food initiative. So some of the delis, and this has been going on, the healthy food initiative, where stores are given a cooler so that they can have a place to store fresh vegetables and fruits and yada, yada, yada. Here's my question. Would you buy fresh vegetables from a corner store? Would you buy chicken from a corner store if it was provided? And I'm asking for a friend. I just want to know if these stores carry it, are we cooking with fresh vegetables and are we eating fresh fruits in our neighborhoods? Because the fact of the matter is, if we don't patronize them, it goes away. And I've seen this where store owners started bringing in fresh produce and it spoiled, so they stopped because they weren't buying it. We weren't buying it. So my question is, would you buy fresh vegetables, fruit from the same store that sells gas outside?
For me, yes, because I have, but it's because in a situation where like I've already have a relationship with that store, so I know it's a clean store. I know that they're rotating products, so there's not expired goods, things in there. So for me, yes, like I've bought chicken and things like that, and there's still stores that you have a whole freezer section. So I totally would, but it's got to be a good reputable store, and I think that's pretty much the bigger thing. Like, is it a clean? Because nobody wants, and honestly, I'm just be honest, if the clientele is clean, like I'm not gonna.
Okay, come on.
I'm not gonna buy fresh produce, and I done saw 3 people just touch stuff and put it back. Then I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
But would you buy it if it was in a major store and you saw 3 people touching and put it back? Because in a major store, people are touching it and putting it back.
Oh no, I don't do it. If I visually see it, then no, I'll walk right by it and be like, nah, I'm good. I'll come back next week.
Marie says the beef in the can makes excellent tacos. Chucky says their brand needs to be in the store, and they don't sell it. By the way, they do not sell one item. It is all given away. I'm impressed. They had egg, noodles, and pears. That's right. Chili, boxed milk. That's amazing. It's never. Yeah, thanks. So Marie Collins says yes. It's just a smaller store. So I'm waiting to see, and I hope people do patronize. And Chugi says something about New York City because she's right. In New York City,
yep.
That's you. In some parts of New York City, you ain't gonna have a grocery store close by. You might have a bodega, a deli. You're gonna have that right downstairs in your building, and because many people in New York do not have cars, so to go to the grocery store is a big deal.
Yep.
So when you go to the grocery store, you buy everything you need for the week, for the month, whatever it is, however your money flow, and then that in between stuff, you go into that deli. And what I'm seeing is new Americans here in Buffalo
are doing it.
They're opening up their own delis that have their own specialty items.
Yep.
So that they, so if the bigger box stores are not going to carry it, they open up their own. And that's why I'm a big pusher of Alex and this co-op, because at the end of the day, we're going to have to learn a new model in Buffalo.
Absolutely.
We're not used to it. It is depending solely on big box stores. And if we could understand the value of a well-run small business and how it can benefit the community. What were you about to say, Mike?
And I was going to say, and for those who can't visualize, what she said about New York City, just think about some of the movies you've watched, and they're sitting on the stoop, and then they walk down the street, and they have the fruit cart sitting out, and they have the corner store. So just so people can get a visual idea of kind of what we're talking about here.
And that's where you see a lot of what I call, and I have one, by the way, so when I say this, I'm not being facetious or rude, an old lady cart. I have one in my basement. I have no idea why I bought this thing. Have no idea, but when I'm moving around tools and stuff, I put it in my old lady cart. But you see that in the New York and all of that. And they even have ones that go through snow. Big wheels so that you can pull it through the snow. At the end of the day, we are going to have to reimagine how we do our stores, how we shop and what we do. Because I've said over and over and over, a lot of people never get to the big money because they don't know how to deal with the small money. You really have to understand how to do business and how to do business well in customer service. And I was talking to Bishop Hennings the other day, and we're talking about certain businesses, and he's looking for a certain business to do business with, especially African American owned. And we were talking about customer service. You can have a mediocre business and have high customer service, and it makes all the difference in the world. I won't mention the restaurant that I went to yesterday because told you my daughter called the manager, but there was a tag in my food. It was a tag.
A tag?
Like maybe something that was on some fruits or vegetables or something. It had the barcode.
Oh, no.
So I got a spoonful of that. But I didn't freak out. But my daughter, she was like, "Oh no, no, Dad."
Oh yeah, I'd have freaked out.
But let me tell you this: I left, and pun intended, with a good taste in my mouth, and I'm going to tell you why. The young man who was the host broke his neck. He had no idea who I was. Young man, I appreciate when people treat me well and not because of a title. I can't stand when people will treat people bad until they figure out who they are. But the place, you needed reservations. There was no more reservations till 8 o'clock. He said, you guys can, sit over, have some pop, something, sit on the side. If a table becomes available, because I really wanted to go to this particular restaurant. I had never been before. And he finally just was like, listen, we're going to have to make, it was like 6:30. So anyway, they made accommodations. So I still left with a good taste in my mouth, and the food was good. And so I wouldn't bash them because of one thing. Now, if it was a clump of hair, if it was, things happen. You're washing fruits. I didn't have any fruits and vegetables, so I don't know how it ended up in my dinner. But things happen, and I don't think somebody on purpose. I think it was a mistake. Ashley, my daughter's point was they need to know so that whoever is cleaning whatever will be more careful, and I got it. But the customer service, and that's what we have to learn in every place, from restaurants in our community to even to churches. You don't have customer service. People don't have to come back to your church.
Sure don't.
You could be mean, and we still teaching here. Matter of fact, when we come back in September for Bible study, we're not even starting out with Bible study. We're going to be in training with our leaders. To continue training our core values and to continue teaching people about customer service and patience with people, and having a welcoming church. I mean, and as a clergyman, I have every right to be able to say this. I feel, at times people want you to come to church, but I've been to some mean churches, and I promise you done met some mean people at True Bethel. I'm not acting like we're exempt. But at the end of the day, customer service is key, folks. It's key. And so when we're talking about these store initiatives and fresh fruits and vegetables, it's not enough to just put them there and like I will say this, I did have a bad time at the airline coming back, and it was at a connection. And before that plane took off, I was writing a complaint. And it was with a gate agent. And I had one simple question. I wasn't like hanging around and hovering. I came up to the gate. I asked the question. Their answer was, it's full. Never looked up. Never. I said, so I got a question. Could you answer the question? He never looked back up. I got on the plane. I wrote a customer complaint as quickly as I could because I'm thinking airline flights are expensive right now. That jet fuel is costing us. I'm paying your salary. I come up. I'm not rude. I'm asking a question.
And if you're busy, then just say, "Hey, give me 1 second. Let me finish what I'm
Absolutely.
doing." Just be. I don't know. It's just a common sense courtesy that I think society is losing.
Yeah, and I think that, like, for instance, even when I wrote the airline complaint, it was like, here's the response. So, you get that no reply response. We received your correspondence. Because of something they said, it may take a few weeks to get back to you. And I was like, it doesn't take a few weeks when I'm booking these flights. When I'm booking these flights, your answer right away. So I want that same type of energy so that if that employee needs adjustment, that happens. I don't want to wait a month for you to reply, and now you don't even know who the employee is. And okay. All right. Where was I at? Okay. I did print something. So I was asked the other day after we talked about the gun laws for New York State that take effect September 1st. Okay, folks, I do have a list because I was asked, do we have a list of where you cannot carry your weapon? Are you ready for this? I'm talking about licensed handgun owners. Unless you are retired or active police, active military, or have a security guard license, something like that. So I've already figured it out for me. I'm getting a security guard license. I need it. I need it for here. Here are the places. Include government buildings, any location providing health, behavioral health, or chemical dependence care. You can't place it, can't wear it. Any place of worship or religious observation. Take a breath, pause. Everybody pause. Everybody just pause. The places where mass shooters are coming into. Churches, they've shot up. Mosques, they've shot up. Temples, they've shot up. You can't unless you've got this license. I got more.
Oh, okay.
Libraries, public playgrounds, public parks, zoos. Let me. I'm just trying to figure out the efficacy of this, as Craig would say. Zoos. The location of any state-funded or licensed program. I'm not kidding you all.
So that's everywhere.
Educational institutions, both elementary and higher ed.
Who wrote this?
Any vehicle used for public transportation. So you can't get on the NFTA. Can't get on the train in New York State. You can't, any place with public transportation. All public transit, including airports and bus terminals. Hold on, still ain't done. Bars and restaurants.
Shuki gonna say, so True Bethel is getting a security guard ministry.
Come on, preach. Come on, preach. You know your pastor, don't you? You know your pastor. We will be having training at The Bethel. Y'all think I'm playing? Mark, will I do it?
Yes, you will.
We just had our women had a gun safety class the other day, right here at True Bethel. I ain't finished. I'm not finished. Bars and restaurants, I said that. Entertainment, gaming, and sporting events and venues, polling places. Now, here is the kicker. Here is the kicker. Everybody hold on. Any public sidewalk or public area restricted for special events and protests or rallies.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna take a minute here because no, I am not finished. But warn that lawmakers. Okay, on another sheet, you cannot take it into any house unless the homeowner gives you permission. Now, here it is. The law also prohibits the use of firearms on private property. That's every property.
That's what I said.
Every property is a private property. It belongs to somebody. Private property unless the property owner allows it. Business owners can display a sign on their property to allow concealed carry weapons. That will be in the rural places. If there is no sign, concealed carry permit owners should assume firearms are off limits. Let you, especially those of you who are licensed or seeking your license, although we are laughing, let me tell you how dangerous this is. Number one, it is dangerous in the fact that law-abiding citizens who may be needed to defend and help to defend people who are not armed. Who are you trying to get to come in? Sister Doyle. She done made it all the way. I don't believe it. Sister Doyle, Queen Doyle just walked in this room. I'm thinking, who is Mark trying to get to walk in the room? I guess she said, you ain't answer that phone at 12:30. Didn't I say call at 12:30? You did not have to come all the way out here, Queen Doyle. You did not have to come all the way out here to make that announcement. Now, I'm going to talk about her in a minute because I got to give her some airtime. This is the problem I have with this. It is going to make criminals out of law-abiding citizens. And it is going to do it because it's so many places you can't carry that if you even make a mistake, you know you can be charged. And I believe this is a felony.
Felony, yep.
So I'm afraid for safety, number one, because I'm good being in a room with a law-abiding citizen who has a permit to carry a weapon. I mean, Hazel Boyd over there tearing up the house.
Working.
She over there. I mean, hey, I'm sorry, y'all. I had to pause because she got the organs going, the drums going, and she is
in there working.
Hazel Boyd, Shepherdess Boyd is giving it to the people in there. So I'm afraid of this law, and I'm afraid at how many places that you cannot carry a lawful weapon.
And my big fear is the people that's going to affect us.
It's going to affect us
because we're the ones now. Like, oh no, let me go get my license. Especially
Yes.
after tops. Like, we're the ones now. Like, okay, I'm gonna protect myself. So as soon as we get ready to protect ourselves, which I have been saying for over a decade, as soon as African Americans then become a bunch of run and get legal, now laws were going to change, and that's exactly what's happening. Like you said, we're going to be the ones criminalized behind it.
Absolutely. And if you think about even tops, and if there had been more people in tops who had legal carrying weapons.
Absolutely.
Now I got to depend on hoping that the security guard, which I'm about to be a security guard, everybody. I'm telling you publicly.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you publicly because here's what the law says, and then I'm going to Sister Doyle. Several groups are exempt, including current and retired law enforcement, peace officers, security guards who have a special armed registration card, and active duty military. The law also allows hunting and hunting education with the proper license. I'm going to do something. I'm going to be a peacemaker. I'm going to be a security guard. I'm going to do what I got to do. And maybe I'll see if the sheriff can make me a special sheriff for like a day and then retire. I'm going to figure this out. I got to figure it out.
Terrible.
Because and then if you leave it in the car, you have to have it in a safe in the car. It's either in a safe or and I get that somebody breaks in your car, but if I need to rapidly respond,
I gotta go. Now I gotta go put the magazine back with the gun.
Right, because you have to take the magazine out of the gun.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll say this, and Queen Doyle is here. I'll say this. In certain countries, like Bahamas, you can't even get a gun permit.
Wow.
But when I did the research, they still have murders because now they're making the ghost guns. And they're getting guns illegally. So, I don't know. Big conversation. Chucky talking about I'm his assistant security guard. Oh, no, Danetta, I'm not kidding you. I'm going to be a security guard. You can say I'm a snitch if you want to. I ain't say I'm going to be a snitch. I said I'm going to be a security guard. Queen Doyle, you are on live with us. Now, I was at an event the other day for Cat Massey. You was moving so quick to get across that street to say you wanted to come on the air, and I told you I wouldn't be on last week. And so you called because I saw your name come up. And when I didn't answer that phone, folks, she got in that fancy car. Now, I want you all to know that she is walking with her little stick, and she got down here to the radio.
I usually have my walker. Bishop, thank you so much, because I usually don't come, and it's hard for me to get here. It
Yes.
really, at my age, but I still get around now.
But we were going to call you back. We love you so much. What you got going on?
Well, I'm going to say this really quickly. I have a new essay contest. Bishop, I've introduced more than 100 essay contests in the last several years, and this is for adults. $100 first prize, and here's the topic. If you enter the contest, you must answer this question. If you could rename Jefferson Avenue, what name would you choose and why? You have to answer the why part. The deadline actually is I believe next Saturday is August the 20th, right?
Okay.
It's August 20th. By midnight, you can send your 1 or 2 page essay to me at ewriter52 at roadrunner.com. I have a new email.
Roadrunner.
I have a new
Roadrunner. I didn't know Roadrunner was doing that.
Well, I had to get a new, but if people forget that, they can contact me at the Criterion newspaper. I'm still writing, Bishop.
Wow.
And this coming year, I'm going to have a big celebration. My column, Eye on History, will be 44 years old.
Wow.
Never missed a week, being published in Western New York for 44 straight years.
Wow.
So I'm inviting people to write an essay. I do these essay contests, Bishop Pridgen, to encourage people to write and to think. And I want to just end with this. Jefferson Avenue used to be called Pollard Street.
Wow.
And there was only the German community on Jefferson in the early 1900s. And at the end of Jefferson, at East Delavan and Jefferson, there was a huge park called Luna Park. And people will come from everywhere to visit the park.
At Delavan?
Delavan and where Canisius is now?
Yes.
There was a huge park there.
Wow.
Called Luna Park.
Okay.
And let me tell you, whenever I talk about history, I have done my research.
Yes, you have.
It can be documented. I got this information from the Buffalo History Museum actually 40 years ago.
Wow.
So I just want people to take advantage. I want to give away $100, $100 first prize, 75, second and $50 third. Bishop, I give away money all the time. Please take advantage of this. I give away scholarship money, essay contest money, Black History books money, whatever.
Well, you got somebody writing right now on Facebook. Tashelle Jameson says, my son was an essay winner for a college scholarship back in 2020 when he graduated from high school. She is such a blessing.
Yes, and I thank you so much. I don't want to hold. I want to.
No, you listen.
I want to leave a few.
So if you could name Jefferson Avenue, I'll take that, and we'll get it. If you could name Jefferson Avenue, any other name, what would it be?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to give you the address again where you can send that, and it's for adults this time.
Yes.
E. Writer, the letter E, Writer 52 at roadrunner.com. E. Writer 52 at roadrunner.com by midnight, August the 20th. Include your name, address, phone number, and email.
Yes, I appreciate that. And Bishop, I thank you. And speaking
You
of the
are
law, I
something
hope
else.
I didn't break any parking laws because
For you, let me tell you this. You can break any parking law as long as you want to, sweetheart. You have come all the way down here. We were just talking about respect earlier. And respect of other people, respect of those who've gone before you. And you know how much I respect and how much I adore you. So you did not have, listen, I had the number right here because when I saw it come up, I said, okay, when I stop chattering, I'll call her back. But folks, she got in her car and got down here. Queen Eva Doyle.
thank you so much, Bishop, and thank you. I want to say this last thing. Coming to True Bethel is like coming to a small city.
You know what? We always got something going on here, and that's what I always wanted as a pastor. For me personally, I didn't want to pastor where all you're doing is Sunday morning and Bible study. What are you doing all week long? So this place is buzzing all week long.
And I thank you so much for all that you do, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.
It's Queen Eva Doyle, everybody. I wish I had one of those applause. I'm going to get me a sound effects thing.
Yeah.
And
I've been looking at a couple
I'd
of
be
them.
making little clapping noises right now. You need any help, sweetie? Mark, get that door. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. Okay, what was my last thing? That she's so sweet. The CDC has new guidelines, folks, for let me see if I got it here, if I brought it here. If you come in contact now with somebody who has COVID in close contact, they're now saying you don't have to quarantine. I'm going to say this. That's what CDC says. I'm just saying be careful. And if you know you've come in contact with somebody, at least wear a mask for a little while so that you are not spreading COVID. So CDC says no more quarantining if you come in close contact. If I come in close contact with somebody and they let me know, I think I have a responsibility until I know that I'm clear to at least wear a mask. What we don't want to see, and although it's not as severe as it was, we don't want to see this thing start to grow again as our children are going back to school. Let me talk about Hobson's, the Dr. Dry Cleaner, because I usually don't have a lot of time. I want to talk about them. They put a new, I talked about this a couple weeks ago, they put a new monument out at Hobson's. You have got to stop by. They encourage you to stop by. And it's in honor of those who were killed by the white supremacists and tops. And stop by there, even if you're not. I want you to stop by there and take your clothes. That's what I want you to do.
Absolutely.
But it would be very nice, and I think that because they paid for it themselves, for you to stop by and show respect by taking a photo of it. I've been seeing photos start to circulate. They enjoy it. If you go in and take a photo, just open up the door if you're not taking in and tell them thank you. Tell Mrs. Hobson thank you for doing that. That's special. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home, 3 locations to serve you: 347 Peckham, 2528 Bailey, 1275 Sycamore. In your hour of need, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. You know, I'm big on trying to really deal with those who reinvest in our community, those who worship, live in our communities. It's so important that we do that, and I'm telling you, it is my funeral home of choice. For my family, so he's not just a sponsor. He is someone who I use when I am in charge of a passing in my family. Top-notch service. He's always there, very personable. That's Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. I'm going to throw it back over to Shad. I think I got everything in. I got it all done within an hour. Until next week, power to the people.